Okay, so here is the practice problem. So flip the worksheet over, copy this down, and then try to follow the steps that we just outlined and do this problem on your own. And once you think you've got the answer, unpause the video and watch the answer and check it. If you got it right, then pick up the practice worksheet. If you didn't get it right, try and figure out where your mistake was and talk to a neighbor or your teacher if you need to. So pause the video now and work on the problem on your own. Okay, so you should have the problem solved, and we're going to sort of go through the steps together now. And so first step is we fill in the lower left-hand corner with the x squared in the generic rectangle, and then the upper right-hand corner with the part that has no x's. So we've got 3x squared and minus 8. And we then figure out what the product of those two things is. And so we're looking at this times this. And in this case, those multiply to be negative 24x squared. And so that's what goes in the top of my diamond problem, negative 24x squared. And the bottom of the diamond problem is the middle term from the thing I'm trying to factor. And so now I'm looking for things that multiply to give negative 24 and that add up to negative 24x squared and add up to negative 10x. So I know I'm going to need my x's. And then you can make your list of things that multiply to give 24. So 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. I think about does it. And since it's going to multiply to be negative 24, we know one of them needs to be negative, and we want them to add up to negative 10. And so the bigger one's going to need to be the negative number. And then we just check and see, are there any numbers in this list that add up to negative 10? And sure enough, there are. 2 and negative 12 add up to negative 10. And so the solutions to the diamond problem will be 2x and minus 12x. And so those two things together tell me how to fill in the rest of my generic rectangle. And so I fill in my minus 2x, or my 2x here, and my minus 12x here. And then remember how this works. I'm sort of looking for things that they have in common. And so when I look at this first column here, I can't really find anything in common with the 2 and the 3, but they do both have an x. When I look at this next column here, and I think about what the 8 and the 12 have in common, is one is they're both negative, and then 2, they have a 4 in common. And then when I look in the rows now, I can sort of use what I just figured out. And so if this is x and I need a 3x squared, then this is supposed to be 3x. That's good because 3x times negative 4 gives me my negative 12x. And then if I have an x down at the bottom and I want a 2x here, then on the side I need a 2. And that's good because 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8. And so it all checks out. And so I now just write my area as a product to get my final answer. And so on the left side I have 3x plus 2. And on the right side, or on the bottom, sorry, I have x minus 4. And so I now have factored it. I've taken my original quadratic polynomial and I've written it in a new way, right? And that new way is going to be helpful to us when we're working with quadratic functions. Hopefully you got it right. If not, try and figure out your mistake and then try some more. Thank you.